Aloha above, topsecret.com. This is Cary Tagawa, most recognizable for playing bad guys and evil people, and probably the only healer ever to go into Hollywood. Immediately started playing torturing acupuncturists, so very aware of the need to serve. We go where we need to serve. And certainly from healing into playing roles of people who are into torturing. It's been an interesting entry, and now looking not necessarily for an exit plan, but certainly my intention was in coming to Hollywood as a healer was to bring attention to my healing practice if in fact I could get enough notoriety from my work in Hollywood. And I've gotten to a point after 23 years that I'm planning to do that now and hopefully to manifest within the next year. The work that I do is a form that I've been developing, and it's been now since '78. I've been doing it without an external teacher and following the internal guru for all this time. Very much, if anything that I share with the characters that are bad, is certainly a rebelliousness or a rebellion toward anything that is not functioning. So that kind of opens it up to quite a bit of the world. But I'd like to say I chose to do this, but in fact I feel like it was passed on to me, it was given to me from my father who passed away in '78. And in that, the system is purely by experiment. It isn't from any written material. It wasn't expressly inspired by any one person, although if I were to pick three of my heroes on the planet for inspiration, it would be Bruce Lee, Jimi Hendrix, and the Dalai Lama. You'll probably never hear the combination of those three men from anybody else but me, but that's part of the eclectic energy that I come from. And in that, this form also was being rebellious enough to leave martial arts, for the work that I've done in Hollywood has been very much about a seeming understanding, some people consider a mastery of martial arts. It's just amazing what the hype of Hollywood can do. In fact, I am not a master of martial arts. I left martial arts because of the fighting and not interest in fighting. I do watch mixed martial arts occasionally, but my interest is not in the fighting aspect of martial arts, but certainly the healing aspect. And at that moment in which I was developing this system, it was a time in '78 and the early '80s in which certainly yoga and Tai Chi were making their mark. Certainly most people had not heard about Qigong. The healing modalities at that time were therapies, Reikian therapy, Rolfing, a lot of talk of consciousness, and especially living in Los Angeles, probably LA has the distinction in my mind of being one of the foremost places where anybody with an idea could find a way to manifest and make money from it. And certainly in those days, there were a lot of different styles and modalities and talk of consciousness and transformation. I chose to ignore all of that and discover what I could with what information had been passed to me. And very much the information that I chose to pull together came from martial arts based on these three factors: the breathing, centrifugal force, and gravitational force. So for the last almost 30 years now, actually it's 31 years of discovery, of bringing bits and pieces of information. So certainly from the martial arts, those three aspects: the gravitational pull, centrifugal pull, and breathing. And then from sports medicine, where I had to go to find out where the West was in terms of understanding of the body. Got into from the theories of aerobics to core exercises, where we seem to be kind of peaking at this moment. Look very carefully at physical training systems and how they might be altered with an injection of